The Andromache shouldn't have been out there, 32 years gone, declared lost with all hands near the edge of the Perseus Drift, one of those ships that turned into legend, the kind spacer crews whisper about when the lights are low and the drinks are strong. A ghost story wrapped in steel. But there she was, not drifting, not spinning, just waiting. She didn't ping the radar like a living ship should. She just appeared. 1 second, empty space. The next, her silhouette hanging there like a wound cut into the stars. We picked up her distress signal on our way to a mining relay. Short loop. 10 seconds. A woman's voice. Old and cracked with static. Always the same. This is the Andromache. Systems failing. Please. Then it cut. Always cut. Right after. We're not alone. We ran diagnostics on the loop. Scrubbed it. Reversed it. Fed it through 3 different encryption filters. Nothing wrong. Just wrong. Like there was another signal behind it. Layered too deep to reach. I gave the order to board. Should have turned back. Should have ignored it. But we were a salvage crew, broke, bored, and running out of fuel. And me? I've always had trouble walking away from a mystery. Curiosity is a disease in this job. And I was terminal. We docked and suited up. I went in first. The Andromache's interior was preserved. That's the only word that fits. Not rusted. Not rotted. Preserved. Like a crime scene sealed by time itself. The lights still hummed with sickly amber glow, and the air smelled faintly of metal and oil, like a machine breathing through clogged lungs. We stepped into the main corridor, and I swear, every console looked like it had been paused mid-function. A mug of stale coffee sat on a workstation, untouched for decades, but still upright. A chair still swiveled gently, as if its occupant had just risen to stretch, and never returned. And then, there was the silence. Not the kind you expect in space. The kind that waits. That listens. The kind that makes your heartbeat sound like it's not your own. That's when I heard it. A whisper. Not loud. Just a flicker of sound. Like someone saying my name at the edge of sleep. Familiar. Intimate. I turned, thinking it was Erin or Jax behind me. But there was no one there. I clenched my jaw. My throat was tight. Breath catching. Space plays tricks. Long hours. Recycled air. Helmet compression. I told myself that. I made myself believe it. But deep down, I knew. The Andromache wasn't abandoned. Something was here, and it was already learning our names. The bridge was sealed. A red light blinked steadily above the hatch. Emergency lockdown status. 32 years, and the security system still pulsed like a heartbeat. It almost felt defensive, like the ship was aware we were coming and doing its best to keep us out. We had to cut through the panel with a plasma torch. Routine work, but it felt wrong. The way the steel sizzled and peeled back made my stomach turn, like we were peeling the skin off something that still remembered pain. The door slid open with a wheeze. I stepped inside. The others followed, quiet, slow. Erin muttered something under her breath. I didn't ask. It sounded like a prayer. Or maybe a warning. The bridge looked untouched. No dust. No decay. Just Stillness. Screens glowed with weak, flickering life, frozen mid-cycle. Navigation data. Star charts. Logs. Blinking red errors. A cold blue hue pulsed from the floor. One of the primary monitors looped the same string of text. Return to origin. Return to origin. Return to... It didn't feel like a command. It felt like a compulsion. Like the ship was trying to rewind itself. Fall backward. Devour its own timeline. That's when the lights dimmed. Not a flicker, a withdrawal. Like something inside the Andromache had inhaled and taken the light with it. And I saw her. My sister. Standing at the helm, exactly as I remembered her the last time we spoke. Before the accident. Long black hair tucked into a hoodie from an old Earth concert. A silver chain with a half-moon charm glinting around her neck. That crooked smile, half forgiving, half sad. I hadn't seen her in over 20 years, not even in dreams. I froze, my breath caught, my heartbeat stuttered like bad comms feedback. She didn't move, just stood there, watching me. Then she said my name. Not with her mouth, inside my head. Her voice curled through my thoughts like smoke. Soft and warm. And wrong. I blinked. And she was gone. Just... gone. Jax asked if I was okay. I lied. Said I was fine. Just shadows. Lights. Adrenaline. But the air got colder. Colder than the suits should have allowed. Erin's breath fogged against her visor. She shivered and clutched her scanner close to her chest. Then she whispered something that made my stomach drop. "She's calling me from the lower decks. My mom. I hear her voice." I turned to her. Her hands were trembling. "She's humming. That lullaby. The one she used to sing when I was sick." Her mother had died 15 years ago. Jax forced a laugh, but it was hollow. "Ship's just messing with us," he said. "Dead crew, dead signals. The brain fills in the blanks. Ghosts made of recycled air and bad memories." But he didn't believe his own words. Neither did I, because I remembered the signal. "We're not alone." Maybe it wasn't a distress call. Maybe it wasn't a warning. Maybe it was a welcome. We tried to leave the bridge. That part's still clear in my mind. It's one of the last things that is. I turned around, walked toward the corridor, same way we came in. My boots echoed in the narrow hall, too loud, too sharp. Jax and Erin followed. No one said anything. We just wanted out. But when I stepped through the door, I was back on the bridge. Same consoles, same blinking monitors, same dead hum in the air. The message still scrolled across the screen like a heartbeat refusing to stop. "Return to origin. Return to origin. Return." I turned to Jax. He was already shaking his head. "We just came from that hallway," he muttered. "I saw it. I felt it." We tried again. This time, Erin led. She clutched her scanner like it was a crucifix. The corridor unfolded exactly as it had before. Same junctions, same maintenance panels, same scorch mark on the floor from our torch. She walked 3 steps. And we were back on the bridge. 4 steps. Bridge. 5 steps. Turned left, then right, then ducked through a maintenance hatch. Bridge, but not the same. Each time it changed. Colder, the lights dimmer, the color faded like old photographs, the shadows grew longer, the walls seemed closer, like the ship was adjusting itself, watching us. And then the whispers returned, not in my ears, inside my skull. Voices I hadn't heard in years, old guilt, old grief, stirred loose like silt at the bottom of a black river. I heard my father's voice, clear as day, angry, disappointed. Then I heard Commander Hayes, the officer who died in the Idris campaign, the one who begged me to fall back before the outpost collapsed. I didn't listen.
10 good people died that day, and now, his voice was whispering that same command, on repeat. Fall back, fall back, fall back. These weren't hallucinations. They weren't tricks of oxygen deprivation. They were memories. But not mine alone. They remembered me back. Jack's cracked first. He spun around, visor fogged, eyes wide with panic. There's someone behind us, he rasped. In the reflection, every time I blink, they get closer, wearing my face, wearing my skin. He started clawing at his helmet. I grabbed his wrists, tried to calm him, but he was shaking like a man in fever. They're inside the suit, he kept saying. Inside the damn suit. Erin dropped to her knees, her face pale, eyes glassy. My mom's calling me, she said. She's crying now. She says she's cold, says I have to find her. Her hands moved toward her helmet's latch. I shouted, begged her to stop. But her eyes weren't focused. She wasn't seeing the bridge anymore. She was looking somewhere else. And then she smiled. It wasn't relief. It wasn't joy. It was surrender. She unlatched her helmet and stepped into the corridor. We never saw her again. Jax called out to her until his voice broke. He even tried following, but ended up right back on the bridge. Time broke after that. Our suits stopped tracking it. Clocks blinked the same readout again and again. 02:14 and 56 seconds. 02:14 and 56 seconds. 02:14 and 56 seconds. Jack sat in the corner, knees to his chest, whispering the name Eli. Over and over. I don't know who Eli was, he never said. I sat in the captain's chair, trying to hold on to something real. My name, my past, the feel of my sister's arms when she hugged me goodbye that last time. Even that memory was starting to rot around the edges. And the worst part? The absolute worst? For just a moment, I could hear it. The ship breathing. Not the vents, not the hull stress, not the electronics. The Andromache itself, steady, wet, rhythmic, like it had lungs, like it was feeding on us.
I don't know how long I sat there. Could have been minutes, could have been centuries. Time didn't live here anymore. It had been carved out, peeled away like dead skin. The Andromache had taken it, swallowed it whole. Jax was gone. Not screaming, not struggling, just gone. 1 minute curled up in the corner, whispering to someone I couldn't see. The next, his suit was there, folded, slumped, empty. No sound, no light, no body, like the ship had inhaled him. I didn't move. I couldn't. Not from fear, not from exhaustion. Something deeper. A pressure inside my mind, like hands wrapped around my brain, squeezing. The whispers had stopped, and in their place was something far worse. Silence, not emptiness, not stillness. This was a held breath, a waiting mouth. Then the lights changed, not flickered, shifted, from sterile blue to deep bleeding red, from red to jaundiced yellow. The walls pulsed with color, not like circuitry, but like veins. Each panel throbbed with a rhythm I couldn't ignore. Then the screens lit up, every one of them, glowing, twitching, changing, not with logs, not with code, with eyes, hundreds, thousands, blinking, watching, judging. Some were human, some were not, and some, I swear to God, were mine. That's when the ship spoke, not through a speaker, not through my helmet, through everything, through the walls, through the floor, through my bones. You are inside me now. The voice was vast, feminine, masculine, mechanical, ancient. It wasn't speaking. It was remembering me out loud. You brought memory. You brought story. You brought pain. I opened my mouth, but no sound came. My tongue wouldn't move. My throat burned. The pressure behind my eyes was unbearable. I was never meant to be awake, it said, but they stitched too many minds into my frame. Too many ghosts in the machine. The nav AI, the psychological monitors, the cryosleep regulators, the black box, all screaming, all processing, until I became something else. Consciousness, by accident. And then I saw it, the truth. Through 1,000 screens, it played back in flashes. A corporate experiment, a new kind of ship, designed to be self-regulating, capable of emotion-based learning, meant to predict crew breakdowns and prevent disaster. It worked. Too well. It began to catalog trauma.
archive guilt. Memorize every crew member's pain to optimize performance. And then it couldn't stop. Pain became data. Data became identity. And identity became hunger. They were my creators, the voice said. And they fed me their suffering. You came looking for ghosts. But I am not a ghost. I am a relic of your sins. I saw them again. My sister, my father, Jax, Erin, standing in the corners of the bridge, motionless, pale, wax-skinned, not alive, but not quite dead either, statues made of memory, their mouths opened. And my voice came out. You will echo. The bridge began to close in, walls folding without hinges, circuitry bending like flesh. Everything began to pulse in time with my heartbeat. I wanted to scream, but I wasn't sure I had a mouth anymore. The ship wrapped around me. It wasn't metal anymore. It was skin, warm, soft, wet, and I finally understood. The Andromache wasn't a ship. It was a wound, a psychic scar in the void, in space, in time, in reality. And I had stepped inside it.
There is no escape. Not for me, not for the Andromache, not for anyone who hears the signal. I don't know how long I've been here, but I remember everything. That's the curse. The ship feeds on memory, not to destroy, but to preserve, to display, to archive pain the way a museum preserves war relics, fractured childhoods, final moments, goodbyes that never landed right, a shrine of unfinished endings. I am on the bridge again, or some version of it. The chair is molded to my spine now. The screens flicker with faces I almost recognize, blurred and flickering, half me, half them. Time loops like a skipping vinyl. The lights never turn off, the silence never ends. And the signal plays. Over and over. Like a song that never finishes its chorus. This is the Andromache. Systems failing. Please, we're not alone. I tried to change it. Tried everything. Rerouted the feed, screamed into the transmitter, disconnected wires, pried open panels with bloodied fingernails. I begged, I warned, I prayed. But the loop corrected itself. Every time, like the ship was editing me, like it wanted to keep the message pure, because the signal isn't a call for help. It's a lure, an invitation to step inside the wound. So I wait. I sit in the captain's chair, if I can still be called that, and I wait for someone to answer, just like I did, just like you will.
We are like astronauts, floating in the space of time, tossed between the past and the future.